The Sheesh Mahal controversy has got much bigger now, just ahead of the Delhi elections. The dates for the Delhi elections could be declared as early as this week. And it couldn't have come at a worse time for former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, who's made this whole election in Delhi a referendum on the charges that the BJP have brought against him. Of course, the referendum, by and large, is on the Liquorgate scandal, the matter on which Mr. Kejriwal is out on bail. The charges against him have not been proven in a court of law. But today, there is now a report by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, the CNAG, which shows that the Sheesh Mahal, which is the official residence, or at least used to be the official residence of the Delhi Chief Minister, which was renovated when Mr. Kejriwal was Chief Minister a few years ago, it was renovated to the cost of 33 crore rupees. The initial budget was about 10 crore rupees. It shot up by over 300% in the time that it went from the planning stage to the execution stage. Now, some of the items that have been listed in the CAG report, for which lakhs and lakhs of rupees have been splurged, 70 lakhs, bizarrely, for 11 television sets, more than 18 lakhs for a gym and other gym equipment, sheer curtains worth 90 lakh rupees. Now, the point is, for an Aam Aadmi party, for an Aam Aadmi, someone who came to power saying that he will shun the spoils and the extravagance and the opulence of political office, this has been a big fall from grace. In fact, it has been an outright double standard as far as the Aam Aadmi party and Mr. Kejriwal is concerned, because this opulence, this kind of grandstanding that he has done on this issue, it is completely contrary to what he promised 10 years ago when he broke into the political scene. The question is, more than the Liquorgate charges, where it could still be argued that those charges have not been proven against him, he was a minister with no portfolio, there were no signatures on any of the files, but in this case, this was to renew the Chief Minister's house. It was Mr. Kejriwal and his family who was staying in that house. And 33 crore rupees was spent on it, including 90 lakhs for curtains and 70 lakhs for television sets and 18 lakhs for gym equipment, 4.5 lakhs for a mini bar. How can this be condoned? How can this be overlooked? How long can the Aam Aadmi party ignore these grave charges against a man who famously has called himself, on many an occasion in the past, Kattar Imandar?
जब दिल्ली के लोग कोरोना से जूझ रहे थे, तब इन लोगों का पूरा फोकस अपना शीश महल बनवाने में था।
एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट 7 करोड़ का हुआ और जब टेंडर निकला तो वो 8 करोड़ 62 लाख का निकाला गया। उसी में ही पहले में ही घोटाला हुआ।
भाजपा जब भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ बोलती है तो लगता है ओसामा बिन लादेन अहिंसा पे उपदेश दे रहा है।
All right, let's open this up to our debaters tonight, because this is going to have a direct bearing on how Delhiites vote. Elections to Delhi could be announced, as I said, as early as this week, and the election itself could happen early February. So the referendum on Mr. Kejriwal that he has sought to make this election into, particularly on the Liquorgate scandal, should it not also be a referendum on these grave allegations of the Sheesh Mahal against him? Now, let me open this up to Insina national spokesperson of the BJP. Huda Zariwala is a political analyst and AAP sympathizer. Onika Mehrotra, spokesperson of the Congress Party. And Shiv Khera, author and academic, is also now joining us. Tuin Sinha, let me start with you. I mean, what is so bizarre? I want to go through this litany of, the costs that have been procured and that have been outlined in the CAG report for various items in the Chief Minister's residence. 11 television sets at 70 lakh rupees, a television console at 20 lakh rupees, a mini bar unit. Mr. Kejriwal does not drink, is what I've been given to understand, but certainly, a mini bar, I guess, is for hospitality reasons at 4.5 lakh rupees, an L-shaped sofa at 6.4 lakh rupees, treadmill and gym equipment at 18.5 lakh rupees, kitchen equipment at 39 lakh rupees. My God, I mean, this is surely not Aam Aadmi, Tuin Sinha. There's nothing Aam Aadmi about this.
Well, good evening, Zaka. Good evening, everybody. Arvind Kejriwal is the biggest conman in India's history, and the CAG report on his Sheesh Mahal once again proves that. You didn't mention the 90 lakh curtains, the gold-plated commode, and if he doesn't drink, apparently, supposedly does not drink, I'm sure he doesn't use the gym either because that doesn't show. But anyway, the point is that this is a man who in 2013 had given an affidavit that he will not occupy government house. This is a man who, had very proud manifestations of his honesty. So, if you look at the tendering process, the initial estimated cost of the entire refurnishing or the refurbishment was 7.61 crore. The very first scam was right at the tendering process, where the tender which was brought out was for 8.62 crore, 1.01 crore greater than the estimated cost. And then obviously there are multiple other regularities mentioned in the CAG report. There was no transparency in the way vendors were selected. So, and besides, this cost is up to 2022. We are not privy whether successive enhancements took place. To our understanding, the total cost is somewhere to the tune of 60 to 70 crore. So yes, it's a shame that all this was happening when Delhi was grappling with its COVID crisis, and we all know that his performance was one of the worst.
Okay.
Delhi was struggling for oxygen. And
yeah, we remember the whole politics between centre and state about oxygen cylinders. Kejriwal saying it's the centre's responsibility. The centre saying Kejriwal is doing nothing. In the middle of this, this whole contract, as per the CAG report, Tuin, of course, is a different figure of 65 to 70, but as per the CAG report, and the CAG admittedly says they were able to go only through to 2023, not till 2024. But Huda Zariwala, I mean, treadmill and gym equipment at 18.5 lakh rupees, kitchen equipment at 39 lakh rupees, silk carpet, for the love of God, silk carpet for 16.27 lakh rupees, Faw's leather cladding, 5.5 lakh rupees, main and sheer curtains with 96 lakh rupees. Oh my God, what are these curtains made of? Are they made of gold? And why does the Aam Aadmi, ostensibly Mr. Kattar Imandar, need curtains at 90 lakh rupees?
Well, good evening to all the viewers. Arvind Kejriwal ji is one person who has actually worked for the Janta of Delhi. Now, the bungalow that the Sheesh Mahal so-called that has been spoken about is a government bungalow. It is not for his personal dispensation. It is not something that he is going to be forever able to use it. I mean, in case Aam Aadmi Party does go out of power, whoever the next chief minister is going to be actually using that Sheesh Mahal. Number one. Number two, when are we going to speak about the massive splurges, the expenses that Modi ji does? We're talking about his bungalow, which is, well over 5,700 crores. For the Mercedes, the fleet that he takes with him, each Mercedes worth 12 crore. We're talking about, a man who wears goggles of Maybach worth 2.5 lakhs. We are talking about a gentleman whose suit is worth 10 lakhs. So this is a gentleman that has splurged on every level possible. And
no, I'll get to him to respond to that. But Huda, the problem is this, that Mr. Kejriwal infamously said this in 2013 when he entered politics, when he was fronting the India Against Corruption movement along with Anna Hazare. I believe in Reynolds ballpoint pen, and I drive in a Wagoner. Mr. Kejriwal said this. And Tuin is right when he says, he even said on record, I will not occupy the Chief Minister's bungalow if I get elected as Delhi Chief Minister. Not only has he occupied the Delhi Chief Minister's bungalow, he's now renovated it almost like a palace. I mean, why does anybody need a gold faucet and a gold commode? What is so Aam Aadmi about that, Huda Zariwala?
So when Arvind Kejriwal ji was actually chosen to power by the popular mandate of Delhi, by people's popular mandate, he has actually for the past decade done real groundwork, work that is appreciated by the New York Times, work that is mentioned by the United Nations. I'm talking about the Mohalla clinics here. This gentleman has actually been known for, spending his life and means in very, basic capacity. So we are not going to accuse him.
So what is so basic about these pictures? Gold-plated, chandelier lights. Shiv Khera is also watching this, and Shiv Khera can't believe it, because I believe at some point, a decade or so ago, you were also closely associated with this whole movement against corruption, Mr. Khera. This doesn't seem like, look, it's one thing, and I want to be very clear about this. On the liquor gate scandal, for which Mr. Kejriwal went to jail and Mr. Sisodia went to jail and others in the Aam Aadmi Party went to jail, they were all given bail. The ED, the prosecutorial agencies were all given a yearful by the Supreme Court saying you've, not found any evidence against these folks. Those are matters in a court of law. I don't want to prejudge an investigation. It could well be the case that Mr. Kejriwal did not make a rupee out of the liquor gate scandal. It may well be the case. But Mr. Khera, as far as this is concerned, this is the Chief Minister's residence. This is not building some mohalla clinic or some government primary school. This is for him and his family to reside. This is personal aggrandizement. How can anyone who claims to be an Aam Aadmi possibly justify this, Mr. Khera?
Zakir, you are totally right. It is totally unjustifiable, and besides, Kejriwal is a typical politician. He is no exception. If I recall correctly, it was your program that I was called in earlier. A similar thing happened with the chief minister or a senior person in Karnataka who blew up certain amount of money, which is taxpayer money. They haven't earned it. It doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the taxpayer, and he is squandering the money the way he wants it, which is absolutely absurd. And these people like this, they ought to be penalized for it, and somebody ought to file a PIL and ask them, who gave you the authority to squander the taxpayers' money the way you are doing it? He doesn't need it, he doesn't deserve it, and this should be somehow refunded back. Yes, I understand and granted that people at a certain level, they need certain basic amenities. That is correct, and nothing wrong with that. And by the way, similar squandering has been done by many other people, and which is totally sad that they are blowing taxpayers' money, which they have no right to do. And of course, he claimed that I will maintain none of these things, no big car, no big homes. He claimed that. Well, he can say, I changed my mind. Okay, I changed my mind. Every person has a right to change their mind. But that is not the issue. The issue is that he has no right to squander money, taxpayers' money, the way who authorized him? Who authorized him? This is totally his own discretion.
I want to focus on those pictures, Mr. Khera. I don't know if you can see the television output. Look at those pictures. Those are pictures from the bathroom, right? It's got, a gold-plated commode. It's got a jacuzzi from what I can see. Can we show those pictures again of the toilet? I'm fascinated by this. Why would anybody be so obsessed with a toilet that they're willing to spend lakhs of rupees? That jacuzzi that you're showing there, that jacuzzi has some 5 or 10 different types of shower knobs. I mean, surely the Chief Minister of Delhi should not be having a jacuzzi like that. I mean, isn't this vanity more than anything else?
It is total vanity He has not earned that money. He doesn't deserve it. He ought to pay it back. He ought to pay it back. He ought to be accountable for it. This is like the old Maharajas who used to get the golden pots to go and sit there. It is rubbish.
Anika Mehrotra, you know, this kind of splurging at a time when Delhi was going through easily the worst crisis that not just this city or this state, but this entire country had seen in over a century, a pandemic in which, and in Delhi, I remember I was in Delhi in 21 when the second wave happened, and it was horrible. People were dying. I had neighbors in the housing society that I lived in who were gasping for oxygen cylinders, and politics was happening between BJP-led centre and Aam Aadmi Party-led state government at that time, because Delhi, the national capital, could not find adequate number of oxygen cylinders for its population. And the chief minister was busy building golden commodes and, you know, 5-hole jacuzzis. Clearly, I mean, what kind of priorities are these?
So, Zaka, it will not be wrong if I say that BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party are partners in crime when it comes to spending the public money. You see, in Delhi, look what they did when it was COVID, the liquor scheme was being flaunted around, and so was the Sheesh Mahal. Similarly, Bharatiya Janata Party, I mean, even the Prime Minister definitely has a protocol and they have to maintain a pattern, but that doesn't also give him any leverage to go and buy Maybach and, you know, Burberry or whatever stuff that he wears and then change his clothes. So I'm not wrong when I say both are partners in crime. You see, when you deviate yourself, Zaka, from the development work and you start giving, one calls it bravery, one calls it welfare scheme. Welfare scheme collaborated with development, we understand. You know, it builds in the entire state of the national capital where we are, but the tilted philosophy cannot help. At this juncture, you know, he's trying to deviate from this issue because he knows his neck deep in this matter. And Delhi walas have been ditched by his referendums, by his picture of being Kattar Imandar. All those things have been just washed away because of these episodes. No matter what he does, Zaka ji, I challenge them. Let them give 101 braveries this year. Let them give 101 braveries. Let me see to what extent they can go. Despite that, people will not appreciate. Because at the end of the day, they are looking for jobs. They want, you know, kind of a better place to live. Look at the environment. Schools, at a drop of a hat, you close it. Look at the children suffering from the academics. So this is what is happening in Delhi. They came to power, they said, give us this MCD and we'll clear the garbage. We'll clear the Jamuna. Look what they have done. And BJP on the other hand, Zaka ji, 15 years in MCD. Garbage he piled on and on and on. There's kuda everywhere. And then, you know, they have the audacity. For 25 years, they could not win Vidhan Sabha. It was the Congress that actually gave a breathing space to Delhi and led to Delhi's development till 2024. That was the vision of Sheila Dikshit ji, and that's how we are still surviving. Because you see number of people coming to Delhi.
So Tuin Sinha, you know, in the politics of, you know, competitive populism, every party is doing it. I mean, your party did it. In your state, in Maharashtra, this whole Ladki Behan was given. So you are effectively, I mean, you know, you may want to couch it in whatever language you want to couch it in. But fact of the matter is, it was a bribe to the voter, to the women voters. Kejriwal has also announced something. I believe Congress has announced something today. BJP is likely to announce. So if you were to look at it from a moral prism here, everyone is doing the same thing. Is hamam mein to sab nange hai. But the difference in the Sheesh Mahal story, to my mind, is that A, it's personal. It has nothing to do with the people of Delhi. It's not like you're, you know, trying to make the life of individual Delhiites, you know, a little better by giving them some kind of money or some kind of revdi, as it were. This is entirely for one individual and his family members to live in. His claim is that, you know, tomorrow if Delhi has a new chief minister, BJP gets a chief minister, the BJP chief minister will live in the same quarters. But my point is, why? Why do the ruling class believe that they are entitled to a different set of luxuries and amenities in life? I mean, for God's sake, look, I can't wrap my head around the images from the toilet. You have one thing to do in the toilet. You don't need gold-plated commodes to do that.
what Arvind Kejriwal has indulged in is akin to debauchery, And I'm amused by Aam Aadmi Party's logic. They're saying that whoever becomes the next CM would occupy that house. No, if BJP comes to power, I can put this on record in front of you today that we will not occupy that Sheesh Mahal. In fact, that is the reason they should have been all the more responsible and not spent more than 7.61 crore, which was the original estimate. Do they have do they think that other people, the future chief minister would be as corrupt as Arvind Kejriwal? Where do they get this absurd logic from? Secondly, they keep equating it with the 10 lakh suit which Modi ji had once worn. That suit was subsequently auctioned and the money was used for charity. Is Arvind Kejriwal planning to? Why is the Congress blabbering over here? The Congress
one second. Monika ji, one second. Let him finish. Let Tuhin finish. Monika ji, let Tuhin finish. And then I'll, 1 second. Look. One at a time.
No, let me put
one
this
at a
on
time.
record.
Let Tuhin finish, yeah.
Modi ji's suit was subsequently auctioned and that money was used for charity. Is Arvind Kejriwal planning to auction his Sheesh Mahal to pay the pending money of Maulanas and Anganwadi workers? That's the prime question.
Okay.
Had he not splurged in this
Onika
manner,
Mehrotra,
18
then
people would not have
Huda
died in
Zariwala.
Corona
But the point is, we have seen this, and I don't want to single this out on just Mr. Kejriwal. Very famously, a few years ago, an outgoing chief minister in Uttar Pradesh allegedly was seen taking away, expensive toiletries with him when he was demitting office, when he was leaving his official residence. The same happened in Bihar, I believe, Tuhin Sinha's home state, some years ago. So politicians of all hues and stripes do this. Somehow they have this vanity project in their time in power, and then once their time in power is over, they sort of grab the spoils of that time and leave. But Onika Mehrotra to make a point, and then Huda Zariwal after that, yeah.
Zaka sir, but does that give any leverage to the other to copy the same?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. So if suppose the UP minister had done it, and comparing Kejriwal ji, who said कि मैं तो आम आदमी हूँ, A. B. Modi ji said, अरे मैं तो फकीर हूँ, झोला लेके आया, झोला के चला जाऊंगा. What did he do? Where Dr. Manmohan Singh was saying, he changed that and he shifted the other place, a same building parallel to the 7 race course. He didn't shift there. He had an entire change of setup. Have you seen that also, sir? So this is what is happening. So that is what I said. They are partners in crime. If they want to flaunt their power.
Sorry, viewers. I'm obsessing about the sanitary ware in Mr. Kejriwal's residence. 15 crores. That's what the CAG report says. Huda Zariwala. 15 crores was spent on bathroom sanitary installation. My God. I mean, not even 0.0001% of India earns that kind of money, even on an annual basis. Forget about, spending it on faucets and jacuzzis and golden commodes.
I agree. This is a project that could have perhaps waited or perhaps been avoided altogether.
That's better.
I am not going to justify, the sanitary ware or the, the expenses of the carpet or the said, splurges that have been done in the so-called Sheesh Mahal. But that being said, this is a gentleman who has worked for the people of Delhi. This is a gentleman who has made an actual difference. We are forgetting, the Congress spokesperson seems to forget that, Sheila Dikshit ji, as amazing as a chief minister she may have been, she was laced with corruption charges, which is exactly why Aam Aadmi Party started the whole Anna Hazare movement. A party developed out of it.
She's dead. And I don't want to bring dead people into this, but surely she didn't spend 15 crores on bathroom wear or 16 lakhs on a silk carpet. So at least I'll give her that much. But I got to wrap up. But thank you very much to all our guests. Like I said, look, there is politics and there is back and forth. Which we're all accustomed to, not just in Delhi, but every state, nationally, BJP, Aam Aadmi Party, Congress, they all sort of throw brickbats at each other. But this one, the reason why this story stings is because of what those pictures are showing. What sort of mentality drives you to spend tens of lakhs if not crores, on things that are completely opulent and unnecessary and not required. And mind you, this is not personal wealth that's been generated by the individual concerned. This is public money. This is taxpayer money, your money, my money, people who are paying taxes in Delhi. This is what it's been put to use for, so that some people can have a good time in their morning exercises, as it were.